Hey there, gang. Today's video is about how to choose the best domain name for your site. Now, there's a lot of important factors that go into making a successful website. One of them is the name. It is not the most important, but I will tell you it's right up there. In fact, let's look at 5 reasons why the right domain name is so important. Your domain name is your address on the web. It's what you'll be known by. When you choose the right name, you do add credibility to your business. The properly chosen name is remembered by your customers, which in turn increases the likelihood of a return visit. And your visitors will immediately know what your site is about. Even better, so will the search engines. Finally, selecting the right name can help contribute to a successful website. The wrong name can mean getting lost in the online world. This video is going to give you 10 tips to help you pick the correct domain name. I'm Brian from brianvanwinkle.com. If you find this video helpful, please like it, subscribe, and be sure to click on the notifications bell so that you know when I upload new content. Also, be sure to check out the link in the description to see the exact blueprint I'm using today to build my digital marketing business. Also check the description for links to any sites, services, or other resources that I mentioned in the video. No affiliate links. Now, you ready to get going? Good, because I've got 10 tips I want to give you about domain names. Tip number 1. Make sure your domain is easy to pronounce and spell. The domain name needs to roll off your tongue. You want to be able to have the name spread by word of mouth. If it's not easy to pronounce or spell, that more than likely won't happen. Once you've selected the name you're interested in, write it down. Ask some of your friends or family members to pronounce it. If anyone can't pronounce it, or if they mispronounce it, it's time to take a different look at that choice. Also, be sure to avoid difficult to spell words. If you choose a name for your site like onomatopoeia.com, how many ways do you suppose it could be misspelled? Have a friend type the name into a browser as you say it out loud. If the friend can type it in without misspelling, no questions, this is going to tell you if you've selected a good name. Number 2. Keep the domain name short. 2 or 3 words is best. Now, which of these names do you think is more effective? Brian's Organic Whole Food Low Sugar Healthy Smoothies Recipes.com or Brian's Healthy Smoothies.com. Yes, Brian's Organic Whole Food Low Sugar Healthy Smoothies Recipes.com is an extreme example, but I use it to illustrate the difference, and I think it shows why you want to keep the words or keep the name short, down to 2 or 3 words. Which one of those names rolls off the tongue? Which one is easier to remember? Which one will have less typos? You also, when you are selecting a name for your site, include a keyword in it. And we'll talk more about that in a later tip. But when you use a keyword, it helps your readers and the search engines know what your site is about. If I use the word healthy smoothies, there's no question. The reader knows what my site is about. The search engines know what my site is about. I'm not saying you will rank for that keyword, but it does help the search engines. Finally, be sure to avoid all the kind of weird extensions that are available. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so I have come to Namecheap, which is my preferred domain name registrar. That's who I get all my domain names through. But I wanted to show you the point I was making about the kind of odd extensions. Using the example of Brian's Healthy Smoothies.com, I searched, and son of a gun, you can see that I could get the .com extension. That's what I want. So I would add that to my cart and off to throw my money at them. Don't let this distract you. If you scroll down, you're going to see .dev, .ai, .xyz, BrianSmoothies.live, BrianSmoothies.tech, BrianSmoothies. No. Don't use any of these. There's a reason that nearly half of all websites use the .com extension. It's because it works. It's easy to remember. So avoid these. You'll really be doing yourself a favor. Number 4, give yourself room to grow. You don't want to limit yourself right out of the gate. You want to be sure to think ahead. At some point, you might want to add products or services. For example, if I wanted a domain name for a barbecue blog and I chose bestbarbecuebeefrecipes.com, I just really severely limited myself because there's other meats people love and would be equally interested in grilling. A better name choice in this situation would have been bestbarbecuerecipes.com. Finally, don't limit yourself by using your city or state in your domain name unless it's important for your branding. Tip number 5, it needs to be brandable. According to the American Marketing Association, a brand is defined as a name, term, design, symbol, or any other feature that identifies one seller's goods or services as distinct from those of other sellers. I think that's a pretty good definition of branding. However, I think we should, instead of saying or any other feature, let's replace that with website, and it becomes even more pertinent to what we do. Then it becomes a name, term, design, symbol, or website that identifies one seller's goods or services as distinct from those of another seller. One of the most important things you can do with your branding is be sure to pick a credible sounding business name for your domain. You wouldn't want to use something like www.freemoneyfordoingnothingforyou.com. That's just not credible. You also don't want to pick a name that sounds awkward or cumbersome. And speaking of awkward, don't pick a name solely based on its keyword relevance. And I realize these last 2 points are kind of vague, and I felt that an example was in order. So, let me show you what I mean by awkward or keyword relevance rather. And what I did was I went and did some keyword research, and I picked this search term as an example. I have no idea. I didn't vet it. Didn't look into if it has any traffic or anything. So, merely as an example, I present to you this gem of awkwardness. Healthy smoothies, vegetables, and fruits.com. Of course, you wouldn't want to use that. It's awkward. It's a keyword, though. Use your own good judgment. 6. Don't pick a domain name with hyphens or numbers. Remember tip number 1? That your domain name should be easy to spell and say? Yep, that applies right here. It's hard, in fact, I think it's impossible, to verbally communicate a domain name containing hyphens or numbers. How does someone know if you used the numeral 1 or if you spelled out the word 1? You can't. You really can't. When you include hyphens or numbers, it's going to drastically increase the chance of typos. Unfortunately, what comes with more typos is increased likelihood of traffic loss, which is exactly what we don't. Now, I do have a bonus tip that I would like to give you concerning hyphens and domain names. Whatever you do, if the .com extension of your preferred domain name is taken, don't insert hyphens into it so you can still use it. In other words, don't just take the keyword and hyphenate it. If you do that, all you're going to do is help the owner of the non-hyphenated version get more traffic. And you certainly don't want to do that. Number 7, don't double up letters. You really want to avoid the use of double letters in your domain name, and really for all the reasons we just discussed in tip number 6. Using doubled up letters will cause misspellings, and those typos are going to cause your traffic to cause you to potentially lose traffic. Let me show you an example of what I mean. mattressseamstress.com. Now, I struggled to come up with an example and was inspired somehow for mattress seamstress. I have no idea if it's a real thing. However, it serves the purpose. So look at the double letters. We've got double T here. We got triple S's here. We got another double S's here. There is a lot of opportunities for the name to be misspelled here. Tip number 8. Brainstorm with domain name generators. You know, I've had people tell me that they've actually lost sleep because they can't come up with a domain name that they like. There's no need to struggle or stress out about this. There are free tools to help you if you're stuck, if you are having trouble getting a domain name. They're called domain name generators. Now, I've included links to some free generators in the description, but what I'd really like to do here is show you the generator that I recommend as your first stop, because you might not need to go any further. Okay, so let's learn to use a domain name generator. I've brought you here. The one I'm going to use to demonstrate is Lean Domain Search. I prefer this one because the results are good. It shows you if the name is available. It shows you if it's available as a Twitter handle. So I always start here. There's other ones. Again, like I've said, I'll put links in the description. But let me demonstrate on this one. So we are at leandomainsearch.com. And sticking with the example that I've been using of Brian's smoothies, let's enter a keyword, and we're only going to enter one. Let's enter smoothies. Okay. So quick, you saw how quickly that happened. We've had name suggestions pop up to us using the word smoothies. And there's quite a few choices. Let's say that I wanted to use smoothie solutions. I click on it and it shows you that yes, smoothiesolutions.com is available. Someone's already snagged it as a Twitter username. But you could even go ahead and register this domain name right here. Now again, this was just with one name. Let's go one keyword rather. Let's add a second one. Let's try healthy smoothies and see what we get. Okay, quite a few more. Healthy Smoothies blog. You know what? That's not a bad domain name. Let's click on it. And the .com is available. So you can see it comes up with all kinds of ideas for you. You should never be at a loss, and you don't have to pick any of these. It may generate an idea in your head that you like. You can go use another domain name generator if you'd like. For the heck of it, let's just throw Brian in there, since we know that's kind of what we were using anyway. Brian's Healthy Smoothies. That won't fit. Okay, we'll stick with 2 keywords then. So anyway, that's how you use a domain name generator. It really is a great way to come up with lots of ideas. 9. Research the domain name. It really is a good idea to do a little bit of research on your chosen domain name before you finalize the purchase. A trademark search will show that if your name or one like it has been trademarked. If this is the case, it can cause confusion and possibly even legal issues, something you definitely want to avoid. A trademark search goes beyond the scope of this video. I will, however, include a link on performing a trademark search in the video description. Now, one thing that people don't stop and think about: what if the domain you're purchasing was previously owned? What if the previous owner hosted porn, gambling, hate, or some other nefarious purpose? Your domain could be banned by Google. That's the last thing you want to have happen. Thank goodness for the Internet Archive Wayback Machine. They retain snapshots of websites as they appeared at specific dates and times in the past. This is going to let you know if your domain is clean or not. Let me show you how it works with the domain name I just registered myself. All right, so here we are at the Internet Archive Wayback Machine. Now, the actual URL for this is web.archive.org. Check the description for a link. And as you can see, they have more than 400 billion web pages that they've saved over the course of time. And as I mentioned, I recently had opportunity to use this for a domain name I registered. This was just in the last several days. I registered the domain name brianstestsite.com just for my own use. This is nothing that I will ever try to attract customers or I'll market. Rather, I chose it so I can use it as a model, whether I'm working on learning something in Thrive Architect. If I'm not sure how to do something and I don't want to mess up one of my regular sites, I can go try it out on Brian's test site. So, innocent, nothing to worry about. I went ahead and checked it. And honestly, it's not something that I thought people would have already had. But brianstestsite.com, when I checked it, yeah, son of a gun, it has been used before. You can see it was registered for the first time in 2013, and that the Wayback Machine came and took snapshots of what the site looked at various times. 3 times in 2016. I wasn't sure what to think of that. So what I did was I went and I just looked at each page that they'd saved. So 2013 here, right? 2013, May 26th. So we're going to look at May 26th at this time. That's how specific these pictures are when they're taken of the site. Okay, so here you can see holding site for brianstestsite.com. We can look at the other ones. Actually, there's 7 captures. Let's look at them all. Here's 2014, and it was May 17th at 1:13. So let's take a look at that. Okay, again, holding page for Brian's test site. I guess I don't need to sit here and do all of them. Long story short, this site was never just used. It was a placeholder. I'm sure some dude named Brian probably had the same intent that I did, but he never used it. So I know my site's clean. And that's how you use it. Last but not least, 10. Got a name you like? Better jump on it. Seriously, move quick and buy that bad boy or bad girl or bad whatever it is. There are 144,000 domain names a day that were registered in the first quarter of 2018, according to VeriSign. 144,000 domains a day. I don't know what the most recent number is. but I'd be willing to bet money that it's even higher now. On a quick personal note, I have to share with you that I lost a freaking awesome domain name because I wanted to sleep on it. It was a dumb mistake on my part. Woke up the next morning and it was taken. Don't let this be you. Move quickly when you've made your selection. Okay, so now that we have gone over all 10 tips, let's take a moment to summarize what we've learned today. By watching this video today, you've learned 5 reasons why it's important to choose the right domain name. You also learned these tips to help you choose the right domain name. Make sure that the name is easy to pronounce and spell. Keep it short. Only use the .com extension. Be sure to give yourself room to grow. Make sure that the name is brandable. Avoid hyphens and numbers. Don't double up letters. Both of these items will cause typos, misspellings, which causes you to lose traffic. Brainstorm with domain name generators. Research the domain name. And when you find the right name, meet your criteria, jump on it, make sure you move fast to get what you want. There's a lot of competition for domain names. And with that note, we're done. I really want to thank you again for watching today. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're always up to date with new content. Again, I'm Brian Van Winkle from brianvanwinkle.com, and we'll see you in our next video.